question on Excel, I guess. We're converting information from a web page to an Excel. And so I noticed that this is kind of a complex table. We've got it to where accessibility is good to go in the Excel. We
Okay.
don't need to convert it to a PDF, but I know just for fun, I decided to change it to a PDF just to see how
That's
well
my
it
kind of
passed,
fun, right?
and it was not. It didn't pass. So I guess the question is are we good if we leave it as Excel and it says accessibility is good to go, knowing that it didn't pass? If you convert it to a PDF, there's a lot more work to do. So how far do you go with Excel? Because you can.
Yeah, so I think it depends on the document, and I don't know if it's something you can share so we can look at. But I would say, in Excel, yes, you want to pass the Excel checker. You also want to make sure you don't have any empty columns or rows that are used for formatting.
Mhm.
That can make it really difficult for folks to find the content. The way you think of it, we kind of read in English left to right, top to bottom. And so we don't want, someone to hear something and then have a whole bunch of empty rows and kind of be exploring down to try to find where the content starts again. So, so you'd want to get rid of any empty columns or rows. And then, okay, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, and you have your content stacked, you know what I mean? So what I mean by that is we have multiple layers of column headers here, right?
Mhm.
So, we've got, some data cells that have, three different column headers. They might have horizontal infrastructure, cities, population greater than 50,000, right? Those might all three be the headers, and you have those column headers stacked. So I think that's good. That's the way we want it. We don't want those to be interspersed, inside the document. So
In
it's
order
it's
to make
still
this pass, I had to, like, these were considered merge cells. So I had to
right.
unmerge it and then use the format of center. So it's kind of smoke and mirrors to like this section, and these sections were all, it's all kind of smoke and mirrors. Because
So
they
so
were
those
getting
are
the
still
merged error.
separate cells. Is that what you're
Yeah,
telling
those are
me?
actually,
Uh-huh.
yeah, they're all three
You just
cells that I just
got rid of
did
the
the
line in
center across
between.
selection.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I see.
Um,
Okay.
but you see, it's all good to go. But the header, the PDF frowns at this. It does not like this at all.
Yeah, yeah. Just because those like row and column spans don't exist, they're
Hmm.
not real. So when it gets converted to PDF, it is probably pretty confused by those. But it's something that if it were converted to PDF, if you did need to, it could be fixed relatively easily, I think, in the PDF. Again, we'd have to do, some of those row spans and call spans, um, potentially manually it depends if the table editor, since they're all, for the most part, other than a few in the body of the table, they're all in the column headers. You might
Hmm.
be able to do it pretty easily, but
Okay.
the weirdest thing about this, so at the very bottom right, if you scroll down to the end of the table, so did you mark this as a table in Excel?
No,
It's a little
I
hard to
watched
tell.
your video on that to market. I didn't. I did one time play around with it, and you get that little dot at the far
Yes,
corner. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
yeah. But
So,
then the headers end up changing a little bit as far as the layout. So that's the thing I noticed with that.
oh, okay. I was going to say because marking it as a table does allow a screen reader user to use table reading commands. They're not the same table reading commands that they would use in Acrobat. Like Excel kind of has its own table reading commands. So, Yeah, formatted too.
So
So
so just
so
for fun.
if you can do that, that would probably be helpful to someone who's reading it.
Hmm.
Um, but if it, like you said, might change, do you want to
Do
show
it
us?
just for fun.
Yeah, let's just do it for the heck
All
of
right.
it. We won't save.
And then my table's header, right?
Yeah,
Do that.
yeah. So it just kind of, so yeah, and it kind of sees your columns there. Yeah. And you can remove the filter from those. I don't know why it automatically does that. It drives me crazy because I feel like,
Yeah,
um,
that's filter button there.
yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it thinks that we want that. But yeah, so
Yeah,
it
then
kind
it
of
has that.
it breaks what you've done visually, right?
Hmm.
To hide that those aren't really spanned. So I think you're probably better off leaving it the way that you had it before because I think this makes it more confusing.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I would leave it like that.
So
Um,
so it's okay then if we do get this with Excel, we don't have to worry about a deeper check, like a deeper dive into it. Like with Adobe, it'll pass, but we know it didn't pass. People didn't put the appropriate headers
right,
to titles and
right.
those things. It gives you the illusion that you passed your PDF accessibility, but you didn't.
Uh-huh.
Here we passed, but I'm sure there are deeper things that we could dive into. We just didn't know as a web team how far we should go with the Excel.
Yeah. So it's interesting you're taking content from web pages and putting it to Excel and distributing it as Excel. Is it just kind of like
Well,
a
this I
backup for
think
what's
this
already
is
on the
their
web?
original, and that we used to put it on the web page, but now that our area has shrunk, it's harder for the users to get all of this information on a web page. So we're just going to link to this Excel sheet.
Okay. I mean, I would always definitely recommend HTML as the primary, most accessible way to share information.
Hmm.
Um, so, as with an HTML table, obviously you can do all the row spans and call spans, just like you can in PDF and have things marked as headers, THs versus TDs. Um,
And we did originally, but with it would scroll, so you only see the first three or four columns, and then the user has to scroll. So that's been a kind of a complaint. And then on the mobile, it's hard to read
uh-huh.
because it's just too big. There's a lot of data.
Yeah, so it's scrolling horizontally on the
Yeah, yeah, on a
web
mobile,
version.
'cause you're only
Yeah.
going to see a few of those columns.
Huh.
So I think that's the thing. And so I was just playing around with it for fun this week to see. Um,
Yeah,
One,
yeah.
to get it to pass, because originally it didn't pass when I opened
Uh-huh.
up the Excel. I've been
Yeah.
so honed in on Word documents and PDFs, I haven't really studied the Excel a lot. So,
Sure, sure. Yeah. I mean, ideally, we always say HTML is best, PDF is second best, right? And
yes.
then when you get into the native formats, they have varying levels of accessibility, but like an Excel table, this Excel table is never going to be as accessible as a PDF table, complex table, or an HTML complex, you know what
Hmm.
I mean?
Hmm.
So it's when you get into the native formats, just because they're so intended and focused on other things, obviously Excel is, focused on formulas and,
Hmm.
connections between different sheets and whatever else fancy stuff Excel does, right? Um, those are they are much more difficult to make accessible in native formats. So that's why we usually say HTML first. If you can't do HTML, do PDF. So if you're not going to provide this in anything other than Excel, then I would definitely recommend that you, at the very least, put, something on the page to let people know that they can request it in an accessible format. And then, maybe at least then if you get a request for, a specific document or whatever, then you could, for example, convert this to PDF and make it
Okay.
accessible and share it with that user. So I think
Sure.
you need to at least provide a way for them to request that. Um,
Okay.
if you
Because we
can't,
have, probably hundreds, if not 1,000 Excel documents out there. So this is just one.
uh-huh.
And that's what they provide is the Excel. Either they have formulas that the city clerks need to use or counties or
Hmm.
those things so that it needs its native file, native format.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
So we just
So
want to
I
make sure we go as far as we can with accessibility on this, and then if we
Yeah,
can,
yeah, yeah, since we've got, what are, I know they're not technically, but they are merged cells here, then I don't think we should format it as a table because that again, it's going to change the look and you probably can't control that. So I think what you've done here is okay, but yeah, leave it as not formatted as a table because otherwise you can't have
okay,
the look that you want.
perfect. All right. Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, no, it was a good question. I appreciate you sharing that with the group because it's a tough one, but a scenario that obviously you're running into and probably other ones are as well. Um, kind of bigger picture, longer run, if you can get that into a HTML or a PDF, that would be best. But like you said, with the volume and the way they're used, Excel